Hi, I'm Daniel Mullen, and you're watching Purebred Reds, Adelaide United Fan TV.
G'day guys, and welcome to the Purebred Reds, Adelaide United Fan TV. I'm your host Ellis Gelios, joined in the studio today by one of the most talented players to come through South Australia as a goalkeeper in the last decade, John Solari. How you doing, my friend?
Doing very well, thanks for having me.
Johnny played for both Adelaide United and Newcastle Jets at a senior level. Of course, the two sides facing off on Sunday evening, and we're here to preview that game, Johnny. But before we do, we're going to get into your career.
Great.
So let's wind back a little bit. So John, you played for a host of the state's most reputable clubs as a junior, including the likes of Blue Eagles, Campbelltown City and Adelaide City and the Sassy team. You got your first bit of intimation as a goalkeeper on the national stage, having represented the Joeys in 2009, but it was probably playing for Adelaide United's youth team in 2012 when you really announced yourself as one of the country's most talented young stoppers. Take us back to this time and how it felt for you, knowing you were on the cusp of becoming a full-time professional.
Yeah, I guess it was a very exciting time. I think it is the most enjoyable time when you're coming through the ranks. We had Peter Ebezincic, goalkeeper coach, best in the country in my opinion.
Real storied career himself as well.
Fantastic goalkeeper himself, but if you look at his record as a coach, Eugene Kalekovic, Birigidi, Magush, Izzo, Richards, Hall, Beltrami, Bajic, so these guys all played at a very good level. So very confident with him. During that time, it's not really a moment where you think, okay, things could happen. It's more over maybe 6 months where you sort of get better real quick. You sort of get stronger, quicker. Your thinking process becomes more quicker, and you just start making saves that you wouldn't have made 6 months ago. It's probably 2013, I played at White City as a 19-year-old, played the first half of the season there. That's when things sort of clicked, and I thought, well, I'm playing, in the senior team against the state's, the highest competition and playing well. That was probably the point where, I thought, okay, maybe I've got a chance at this. Yeah.
So playing in that National Youth League squad, this is before the days of us having an NPL team.
Yeah.
Were you playing amongst any players that we would know of now?
Yeah.
Then? So there would be a ton of names in there that have floated around, wouldn't there?
Avon Mabil, Jordan Elsie, trying to think off the top of my head. There was a few.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Sending you back a few years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. There was a few, no doubt.
Well, those are two of the biggest that we have to go off now. So
yeah, there definitely is a few more. Just can't. Yeah, but it was a very good team, very good setup at the time. Yeah, very enjoyable.
Who was coaching at this point? Was it Valkanis?
Yeah, Valkanis and Costanzo. The first team, Rennie Coulin was the year before. It was John Cosmino. He was at the helm.
Okay.
Very enjoyable. Yeah. I enjoyed it under him.
Some peak years there, mate. We're going to press forward. So 1 year on in 2013, and one of the most precious moments in your life came along as you were signed by the Newcastle Jets as their third keeper for their 2013-14 A-League senior squad. Here's what you had to say about signing for the Jets back then, as well as what some of your mentors said about you signing your first full-time senior contract upon your arrival to the club. So here's what you said. It's a dream come true to become a pro because it's something I've been working hard for my whole career so far. It's a huge opportunity for me. I'm going to learn so much and I really can't wait to get started. I've trained with Mark Birigidi before while I was in Adelaide. I'm going to learn as much as I can from him and Ben Kennedy because they're two excellent goalkeepers and fantastic blokes as well. Gary Van Egmond, the senior coach of the Jets at the time, said his physical capabilities look very good. We're prepared to work with him and he's prepared to work hard to forge a career as a professional. And the Jets goalkeeper coach Bob Catlin had this to say. He came in and showed good attitude, good work ethic and good talent, and we felt he deserved the opportunity. Hopefully we can develop him further and make a good goalkeeper out of him. Does that bring back some nice memories there?
Yeah, it was a very enjoyable time. Obviously 19 years old and being around guys like Heskey and all these players, Caravella, Scott Neville.
Long list of names here that I was about to point out.
Adam Taggart, Connor Chapman, these guys are serious players.
Michael Bridges, Marcos Flores, Geronimo, David Carney, Craig Goodwin, Joshua Brillante.
It was
stars of Australian football right now.
It was, particularly in 2013, guys like Tags and Brillante, Chapman, all these guys, they were 20, 19 years old, 19, 20.
So still in your sort of situation.
These guys were seriously talented at that age, great attitudes, hungry, just to be around them and see how they done it. And you always knew that these guys were going to go on, especially Taggart. He was a golden boot that year. Such a driven player.
Remember, he was flying.
Yeah, he was flying. He's flying now. Josh Brillante's been on the cusp of going to a World Cup twice. Fantastic guy, great player, probably the most pro player.
Arguably one of the best sixers going around.
Yeah, he's so professional. He'd get into training early, roll his legs out, humble, nice. When you see these guys doing it, and they're at such a high level, it's incredibly enjoyable, and you feed off them. So it was a great time to be around these guys. And then obviously with Heskey, like he's a class above, like fantastic guy, great player, super player. It was really cool. It was really cool.
While I've got you, I just want to ask you, so obviously signing a professional deal is everyone's dream, let's be honest. You got to live it. Just tell us how you bring yourself back down to the ground after it all comes about, because obviously not many of us can say that we've done that. And not only was it a case of you signing a professional contract, but you're stepping into a star-studded squad here. Did you have to pinch yourself? The move away must have been a lot to think about, and something that was really occupying your mind. What was it all like?
Funny, because at first I didn't really like Newcastle. First couple of weeks, I remember, so I called up Dad and I said, I don't really like it here. Then a few weeks later, I loved it. It's such a great town, great people. Yeah, the squad, we didn't make the finals that year. It was a young squad, but it was...
Finished 7th.
Yeah, we missed out by a game, I reckon. Had a few injuries, a bit of bad luck, had a tough schedule, travelled a lot. Well, it's funny that the regional teams, end up travelling more. It's a little in-house joke. But it was a great team, a star-studded team. I'm a pretty humble guy, so I don't know. I just went through it really. I really felt a part of the team. They were fantastic people, fantastic coaches. It was a real family club back in 2013. Very enjoyable. Great memories. I had a lot of fun. Particularly there was a lot of players around my age. So guys like Mitch Cooper, also Mitch Oxborough. So these guys around my age. Had a lot of fun off the field too, as well as on the field. We trained incredibly hard. Gary was a very good coach, very hard coach, very old school coach. He's now the under 20s coach, the under 23s coach. So he's a fantastic coach. Like I said, incredibly tough. It was either sink or swim with him, and I enjoyed it on him. The whole coaching staff were fantastic.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the National Youth League squad for the Jets finished second that season. Were you a part of that at all? Because you had Mark Burgini and Ben Kennedy, two veterans of the league at the time. Well, Burgini's still quite young, but very much burst on the scene. Ben Kennedy had been around. Hard for you to break in. So whilst you were training with these guys, were you a part of that National Youth League?
We finished second. We didn't start off too well, but then I don't think we lost the game for a while. That was a great team. It really was a great team, and those players couldn't really come through also because of the first team squad was so young. We had Andrew Hall at the time too, so it was hard for the youth team players to break into the first team squad because they were so young. But it was a fantastic squad. We come second. I think Sydney wrapped it up with a few games to go, but we ended up beating them 7-1 in the end.
Really?
Yeah. So in the game in Wollongong, Yeah, we had Clayton Zane as coach. He was a great coach.
Eventually stepped in and coached the first team as well.
Yeah, he did. Yes, that's right. He did. Yeah, great team. Different with Newcastle in the youth league, because we're a regional team. We tend to travel a bit more. So when you're with Adelaide, you fly in, fly out. In Newcastle, you'd fly in, play the game, stay the night over. So it was a really tight team with a lot of talented players that are now playing in the New South Wales Premier League, VPL in Victoria. A lot of those players, have done really well in those leagues. Very fortunate to play with them. Yeah.
Did they put you up with anyone else while you were living there?
Yeah, so I lived with the family. I was only supposed to live with them for maybe 3 weeks and then find something else. But the family were great, and they pretty much said, "Do you want to stay with us?" And I said,
"That's brilliant."
Okay, no worries. And then obviously with Mark and Ben, I think Mark is the most talented goalkeeper in the league. He's having a great year.
Now he is.
He's super.
Yeah.
Even 5 or 6 years ago, he was 23. He was phenomenal.
We were just saying at the game yesterday that how unlucky he's been to sit behind Eugene Galekovic for half his career, basically, when he's as good as he is.
I mean, Eugene is probably the best goalkeeper to grace the league.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He's been to 2 World Cups, played at the Olympics. He's been very unlucky, Mark, but I think this year we'll once again see how good he really is, because we
are seeing it.
Yeah, he's super. When he gets in the zone, he's by far the best in the A-League. And then Ben Kennedy, very underrated, a great second choice goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Probably at the time he was the best second choice goalkeeper in the league, and if you had to play 1 or 2 games, he'd play him perfectly. So it was difficult to kind of break the team, but then again, it's great to learn off these guys. So it's a bit of, win and lose.
And you must have had a lot to relate with Mark as well, because you're both Italian stallions. And Mark actually had the same situation when he first came to Adelaide. So he was put up with a family.
Yeah, the Breeze.
They took him in, and very similar career paths.
Yeah, he lived around the corner from me, the family where he stayed at. Yeah, so got a lot in common. Still speak to him every now and then. He's obviously busy. He's got a kid. He's got a boy due in a couple months. So he was good to have around. Yeah, a real nice guy too. I think the whole team were really down to earth people, so that makes it a lot easier. There wasn't as many egos, which was good.
No, fair call, mate. So you were there for 2 years, 2013-14 and 2014-15. On the pitch, didn't quite go to plan. Definitely underachieved a lot given the calibre of the squads across both those 2 seasons. Am I able to ask you, in your opinion, what the issue was? Did it just not click?
The second year was probably the total opposite to the first year. And we just got to go on Google and have a look what happened. It was...
obviously there was all the fallout and fiasco going on with Nathan Tinkler, but...
it was... the coaches got sacked. We had 3 or 4 coaches. CEO got sacked first. Halfway through the year, 4 coaches got sacked. I think I had 3 goalkeeper coaches that year. Our leadership group of David Carney, Q Yallians, Joel Griffiths, and a few other players. Adrian Madashi, they pretty much...
Was Heskey not a part of that?
No, he wasn't there that year. But these players got sacked pretty much. It was just chaos. Pretty bad timing. I had a lot of good players in front of me, good goalkeepers in front of me, and we finished bottom that year. When you finish bottom with a lot of uncertainty, it's kind of hard to go into the next year with a 21-year-old goalkeeper that hasn't played in the first team yet. So, I mean, it is upsetting, but I think, it was an upsetting year. The whole year was it was a circus, honestly. There was weeks where we couldn't train because in Newcastle sometimes it gets really wet, so the pitch wouldn't be ready for a week. So we train indoors, do bike sessions. Remember the week we played against Adelaide, I reckon we lost 7-1 or 7-0.
That was here, yeah.
Yeah, that was when it all exploded.
Correct, that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. Actually, the beginning was pre-season. It was just a nightmare.
Publicly, that was the beginning.
Publicly, that was the beginning.
Yeah.
But there was weeks where we couldn't train, get on the pitch. We didn't get paid for a couple of weeks. I only got my superannuation from the club, I think, last year. I didn't even know. I didn't even know about it. It was a shame because like 2013 was such a good year, such a upbeat year. Even though Gary got the sack, I think he was unlucky to get the sack. But I'm not sure what happened there, but it was good vibes, good people, and our second year just didn't work out. And unfortunately, when you're not playing and you're not I sat on the bench a few times that year. I was in the squad, but couldn't crack Ben or Mark to their credit. I think Mark went on loan, he went to Italy, so Ben stepped in and Ben played fantastic, played really well under a lot of personal problems that he had. He was fantastic. So when you don't play and the team and the club was falling apart, I think the next year the FFA took it over. Yeah, that's what happens. And unfortunately in the A-League there's 10 teams, which means maybe 20 goalkeepers. Yeah, it's not like there's a second division.
Opportunities.
Yeah, opportunity is scarce, and 21 is seen as old. We've seen how many times in England, like a Jamie Vardy only pops up on the scene when he's 25. Doesn't really happen here as much. And that's the nature of it. I mean, no hard feelings. It is what it is, and I'm happy now. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
I think we can look back on it and say that as we know, you were very young while you were there.
Yeah.
And for such uncertainty to come about in that second season.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not like anyone would have been expecting you to come out and break into starting contention. Had you stayed there longer term, I think it's feasible to argue that you would have eventually been able to make your first team debut.
Probably, but this is the way it is. Like these things happen, and you just got to accept it. I'm very thankful for the 2 years that I had there. I wouldn't change it. I had a great time, learned so many things on and off the pitch. Yeah, just one of those things, unfortunately. Had timing been better, maybe if the club was more stable, things would have turned out different, but this is football, as they say. So things happen and you move on.
Absolutely, they do. So 2015-16 comes along and you return home and get given the opportunity to sign for Adelaide United senior team, making your return after being a National Youth League player at the club during our maiden championship year. Describe your experience at the club during what was a brief stint. We don't know a whole lot about your time at Adelaide United. It's a bit it's a bit lost in translation. There's a few articles.
I like that. It's a bit,
bit of mystique.
It's a trivia question.
There's a few articles that came out. Obviously, your signing was announced. We were quite heavily stocked with keepers as well. So Mark Bush was around. Obviously Eugene and yourself as well.
John Hall also.
And John Hall. Wow, that's a bit of a list of names there. What went down, mate?
So I played in the NPL that year, played really good. Got a phone call from Peter, from Blazer, saying, want to come down and train? Yeah, okay, of course. Train well, and he said, John Hall's going to be with the under 23s for a month, so I want you to sign as a replacement. I said, okay, done. Then Eugene Galekovic went down with a knee injury, so he had a knee op, so he was out for about 10 weeks from memory.
So are we talking right now during the period where we were in struggle town, big time?
Yeah, even before. But it's funny you say that because we played Melbourne City in the pre-season game. We beat them 3-1. I ended up playing about half an hour and we played unbelievable. And I called my brother up and I said, this team's got a serious chance of winning the league. And he said, oh, you're kidding me? And I said, no, but the way that we played against this Melbourne City team, which at the time, they were star-started themselves, on a roll. Yeah, they were. And it was full strength, so it was no holds barred. And we paid him off the park. We beat him 3-1 and everything was going well. We had a great coach in Gillian Moore. Things were going well. Eugene went down, and then he was on Socceroo duty first, and he went down. That was the only real interruption. Went into the first game of the season pretty confident. Played Melbourne Victory at Adelaide Oval. Drew against them, which was a good result.
That was round 1, I think.
Round 1, yeah. And then we struggled. We, I think, we lost to Perth 3-0.
Lost to City.
Lost to City 4-1 or 4-2. Aaron Moy scored, we draw or lose to West Sydney, I'm not sure. But
we got smashed away to Brisbane and Wellington.
Brisbane, Wellington and Perth away. 3-0, 3-0 and maybe 3-1, that's right. And it was disappointing. Had a lot of players only meetings, had a lot of meetings with the Moore and the coaching staff. I think the players were super experienced. Galekovic, he was still, even though he was injured, he was in and around the traps at training. La Rocca, Elrich, experienced players, Bruce, Sirio, Isaias, Sanchez, Jago and McGowan. These guys they're experienced pros.
Absolutely.
And they didn't really flinch, which is surprising, and it was always positive. And the coach Amor, he was such a great man. You always knew that eventually it was going to click, and you could see that training, that his drills and the way he trained, it was always good. It was just that moment in time when it was going to click. And Amor was always positive about it, and he pretty much said, he goes, look, if the problem's me, tell me, and so I'll go.
So it's transparency there.
Super, yeah. Even though he couldn't speak English that well, he was very honest, very modest.
Got his message across well.
It was fantastic. And it was just a matter of time until things clicked. And as I said, the team was so experienced. And when it clicked, it was really game over. They weren't going to lose that championship. They really weren't going to lose it. And now I take that into it when I play now or other teams. And teams go to a poor start, and we think, oh, here we go. Like, we're in for a long year. Now I look at it completely different. Like, if you lose 3 games in a row, it's, I remember when we lost the first 6 or 7. Like, it doesn't really matter how you start, it's how you ride the journey and how you finish. And they finished unbelievably. And then you saw what happened in the final series, in the grand final. They were never going to lose that grand final once. Great team, great players. A lot of Socceroos. Now Jago, Craig Goodwin. Nabil, yeah.
Well, left the year before, but
Stephen Mork, he rocked up. It was a great experience to be around.
I'm fascinated by that. So, firstly, you're the first person I know on the record whatsoever to have predicted all that to happen back in pre-season.
I honestly, I called my brother up and I said, this is it, this team's going to win it. And then I looked like a bit of a clown halfway through the year.
Second question I want to ask, so obviously you would have known Elsie for sure. But I'm not sure if you would have known a massive amount of that team coming in. Craig Goodwin was there.
Yeah.
You'd been with him at Newcastle.
I've been with Bruce a bit.
Okay.
Training the first team.
Did those senior heads do what's expected of them and try and sort of ease you in a little bit?
Yeah, well, they're all professionals.
You're still young. You're still very young.
Yeah, they're all professionals. I think the seniors in that team were so strong and had a lot of pull. It was an older team, but they drove the training sessions. They drove off the field. Whatever happened off the field, they drove the team meetings. It was them along with the coaching staff that when they got together, it just worked. It really worked. And then had the young players around, Jordan Elsie, a few players from the youth team pushing through. So it was a good balance. Coaching staff was great. Pal Marty, fantastic. Peter Lazincic. Greg King was a strength and conditioning coach. He's now
very influential
about to win a championship with Andy Postecoglou in Japan.
Is that so?
Yeah, he's with him. Really? Yeah, he's gone on with him. So, it was a really experienced, very transparent coaching staff that I enjoyed. Enjoyed it extremely. Probably the best coaching staff I've been around for sure, and I deserve a lot of credit.
So contractually, what was the situation? Was it a season? Was it?
It was half a season.
Season. Okay.
Half a season. Obviously, they had John Hall. Well stocked, yeah, and they're well stocked now. We don't have a problem in Adelaide with goalkeepers.
No, we don't. We're going to touch on that later on. Yeah. So, mate, fantastic stories all round. Fast forwarding to the present day, you've been, since leaving Adelaide United, been at Adelaide Comets. I think you might have been there just before, actually. But nonetheless, you played with the Comets, Blue Eagles, and you're now at West Torrens Bacala, where you are the senior number 1. How are things looking for the 2020 NPL season with Berks, and how have you enjoyed your time at the club there so far?
I've enjoyed it extremely. We're in the State League 1. Wasn't it last year? Got close to.
Very ambitious club, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a very historic club.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. I played with my 2 brothers last year. My twin brother stayed on, so I'm playing with him this year. I enjoy it so much with him.
So for those that know you, that's Daniel? Yeah,
Daniel and Alex's other brother.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoy it. I've played NPL before. I've played in Northern New South Wales NPL. This presents a new challenge of trying to get promoted. But the club's fantastic. It's hard to find a good club in the NPL when you go from a professional setup. Things get lost in that. Berks are very switched on, and like I said, I just really enjoy it. I haven't enjoyed it this much in a while. So that's why I'm playing that. So hopefully this year we do well. Got training tonight, so I still enjoy it.
Beautiful, mate.
So hopefully, got a great coaching staff, a very ambitious board and chairman. So I really enjoy that, Berks. Yeah.
So forgive me for the blonde question, but I'm sure the remit this season is promotion.
Yeah, it is. I guess that's why you're in that division to
totally.
And I've never been in that situation before, and it's enjoyable. It's frustrating, but
I guess I asked just because we're not used to seeing Berks in State 1.
Yeah, I know.
So it must be a seriously ambitious project to do everything to get back up to the top.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because we're still playing young players, so we aren't trying to stock up and push to get in the first division, and then we have old players. We're trying to build, and I really enjoy the process. No matter what happens, I enjoy the process and the coaching staff, and the pitch is synthetic. It's a great synthetic pitch, probably one of the best in the country.
Jack Smith Park's just been redone last year.
And the change rooms, honestly, are amongst the best in the country. I've been fortunate to go to every A-League stadium, and I can honestly say that our home change rooms are better than a few of the A-League change rooms. Probably better than Perth Glories and Central Coast Mariners. They're seriously good facilities, and that makes it all the better.
That's brilliant to hear, and just coincidentally, our National Youth League games are being played out there right now, aren't they?
Yes,
so
they are.
We applaud everyone to get along to those.
For sure,
fantastic entertainment to get along to, especially when there's no A-League fixture.
Yeah, it's always good to watch the Youth League. Always high-scoring games. You get a glimpse of the future. So go on down, check it out. It's great facilities. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, Johnny. Just before we get into the preview, so as we've alluded to, you are no longer a full-time professional. What else is going on for you? What's life like right now for you?
Yeah, I just finished uni. Funny you said that. When I signed at Newcastle, Gary Van Egmond said to me, "What else are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just playing football."
Yeah, it's a strange question.
He goes, "Nah." He goes, "If you play, then you've got to get some kind of education." So I thought, all right, whatever. So I enrolled. It was halfway through the year, so I enrolled for the next year. Got in the next year, did a bit of study. It was hard, obviously travelling. Had a pre-season in Townsville for 3 weeks, so I missed that. I was sick for a bit, so it kind of didn't work out, but I always had it in the back that I was going to study. And then when I come back from Adelaide, when I came back from Newcastle, I made sure that I'd study, and it's probably the best thing that he said to me was make sure that you study. A lot of players,
proactive thinking coach.
Yeah, it was most of the players that he made sure that they had something behind them. You see a lot of players that get out of the system at 25, 26.
Bit lost.
I'm very thankful that happened. It took longer, but yeah, one of the best things that happened. So yeah, going to full-time work in January with a company just down the road from Adelaide United. So yeah, it's different working and playing soccer. It's not like you're training every day. So it's different to adapt. But yeah, I'm very fortunate that I had a coach that supported that, and the whole club was really, if you had something on because of education, they'd put that first. I think Ben Kanarowski, he's gone on to do psychology, he's finished that. So they're a very progressive club, and I thank Gary a lot for that. I actually, sent him a message and thanked him for that, yeah.
No doubt, mate. Fantastic stuff. And let me just say, you're only 25, so
yeah, still young.
who knows what might happen in 3 or 4 years. Yeah. We've heard crazy things of people making comebacks. Now, just before we get to the preview, hold up that Jets kit you've got there. Yeah. Brings back some memories, I'm sure.
Yeah,
so this is your first season one or second season?
Yeah, first season one. A-League number 30. Didn't really get a choice. They just said number 30.
Just through 38.
Yeah, A-League clubs are pretty scarce. With,
numbering, shirts.
No shirts, they don't even let you keep most of them. So I think I've got 2 or 3. You're not allowed to swap either.
I've come to learn that.
Yeah.
So if you played against a Del Piero or something and went to swap with him, you'd have to fund your own kit the next week.
Exactly. I like this one better than the second year one.
Okay.
The second year one wasn't as nice of a design, but yeah, I just brought this one along. I just found it today actually, and you messaged me, so I just dug it out. I'm sure there's other ones.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Brilliant stuff, man. We're going to get into the preview, try breeze through this one. So the game is a 5:30 kickoff this Sunday evening at Cooper Stadium, and as always you can watch on Fox Sports or the KO Sports app. No squads at the time of filming, but we haven't heard of any injuries after the fallout from the game against the Knicks on Sunday. Now, John, did you watch last Sunday's complete shit show against Wellington? I could only think of 3 or so games at Cooper Stadium, in all honesty, where I could say the performance was as incomplete as what we saw on Sunday after watching 15 years of games there. What were your thoughts on it?
I did watch it. I don't really watch a lot of games from start to finish, but I think Sunday was the perfect day to watch it at home in front of the heater.
There's not much else on.
I think Adelaide rocked up and thought that they were going to win it.
Clearly underestimated them, you reckon?
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, Adelaide have been great this year. They've been very good value. It could be one of those games where things didn't work out. Got to credit Wellington. It's incredibly tough to travel. When you travel to Wellington, it's hard, and they've got to do it every second week. So you've got to give them credit. They were good value on the day. Maybe it was one of those games. Maybe it wasn't. They were disappointing. There was no doubt about that. Yeah. So hopefully this week they can go back to the form that they were in prior to this game. Yeah.
Not much more needs to be said on that, I reckon. I think we just move forward after just a miserable night at Cooper's. Now, goalkeeper-wise, I thought Paulies actually had an outstanding game. And once again, he demonstrated why he should be pitted alongside future Socceroos keepers down the track some time. Sadly, though, he should have done a lot better with keeping out Wellington's equaliser. It came from pretty close at him, but not much force on it, and just kind of rolled under him. What I want to ask you is, how frustrating can it be as a keeper when you've had such a blinder, and then the one error you make is the one everyone remembers?
First of all, Paul's been fantastic.
He has.
This year and last year. I don't think you'd want anyone else to be the goalkeeper. He's been fantastic. Great person, great goalkeeper. Didn't work out with the goal. It's difficult when the striker doesn't make full contact with it.
Yeah.
It was close range. Sometimes you save them, sometimes you don't.
Psyche-wise, you're always like before the action happens, you know what you want to do.
Yeah. It was just a tricky one. It was very tricky. A lot of people haven't really pointed that out. It was a tricky one that was bobbling along the ground. He'll be fine. I see Buffon, he made an even bigger mistake on the weekend. So I mean, these things happen, and I think we should celebrate how good he's been. Had he not have played, maybe Adelaide United would have lost. They wouldn't have come that far last year. He'll be fine. I mean, it is what it is. These things happen. It wasn't that bad. A lot of people putting a lot of caramel on it. He'll be fine. It was just a very tricky shot, windy. Bad day for goalkeepers. But he played well.
I'm not trying to smash his I thought he actually played really well, it was just that one moment in time. He'll get over it real quick. I have no doubt. Yeah. Do you know Paul?
Very well. Yeah. Same primary school, same side of town.
Really?
Campbelltown boys. I know Paul. Very well, very good goalkeeper. Very good goalkeeper.
Got a nice little community of over the last decade of SA-based Italian stallion goalkeepers, don't we, mate?
Yeah. Even like the whole South Australian boys, they're very, very tight. It's a good fraternity to be a part of. Yeah.
Brilliant. So moving forward, and speaking of South Australian goalkeepers, we've got a very healthy production line of them at the club right now. There's obviously Izzo, as well as young Isaac Richards and Daniel Margush, who you would have played with in 15-16. How impressed are you with the way the state is continually developing top-level goalkeepers?
Yeah, I've trained with Isaac Richards too when he was younger.
Yeah.
I think it's the Brzezinski's effect. I mean, all three goalkeepers have been under him
at various points.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Very frustrating too for Margush and Richards.
Just no opportunities.
Yeah, well, you got to credit Paul for playing so well. We've always had good goalkeepers in Adelaide. It's something that the club's prided itself on. I'd like to see Daniel or Isaac have more opportunity. But yeah, like I said, it's a Brzezinski's effect. Now Eugene's a goalkeeper coach. He worked with
Brzezinski for 10 years.
For a while, so I can't see it stopping. I can honestly. Then Neil Tate takes most of the juniors. So it's a good transition from Neil to then Brzezinski. But now it's to Eugene. I don't see Eugene changing much of what Brzezinski does. So I think we will be fine. Paul's 24. Turning 25. So yeah, we're pretty spoilt for choice in LA. We've always been spoilt for choice with goalkeepers.
No doubt about it, mate. How old did he align his move here as well? Paul Izzo. Leaving Central Coast right when they entered their sort of most dire period and coming in seamlessly to replace Eugene.
Yeah, I think for him it done him a world of good to play 2 years, played 2 full seasons, and it worked out well for him. It was kind of in the plan. You sort of sensed that it was going to happen eventually, and it did, and it's worked out really well for the club.
Do you reckon like all those years he had at Central Coast, I'm not sure if he actually had that many, but such a challenge. I mean, when you're collectively as a team shipping that many goals week in, week out, he must have learnt so much being a part of that.
I guess you do when you're playing teams that are
thick-skinned, obviously.
Yeah, you get a lot of shots at you, and it makes you stronger, and you make those saves. So yeah, it does for goalkeepers. It can help if you survive, those squads in terms of if you're at the bottom but you're playing well and you're getting tested. If you can survive that period, it shows who you really are. And he's done a great job.
No question, mate. I've got a 2-part question here for you. We want to get into it as quickly as we can. So, your old mob, the Jets, come here on Sunday with a spring in their step, having won their past 2 games. While we obviously know how bad we were in our last outing, from your experience, how do teams go about hitting the training paddock after such a stinker in their last match? That's part 1.
I think you just got to cop it on the chin. Obviously, with the Premiership side that Adelaide United had. And
Yeah, you know all about it.
yeah, look, it could be a one-off game. They'll go back, they'll watch the video, see what they've done well, what they didn't do well. They'll modify training a little bit, maybe training was a bit tougher on the week. The boys went up for it, their legs weren't at it. I think they will take a lot of confidence from the start of the season, and they'll use that. Kind of forget, this last week's game. It happened. It wasn't good.
Sure.
One-off thing. Let's get back to basics and let's get back to normal and who we really are. Yeah. So I think they'll be better. And depends what Newcastle bring. I mean, they can be the best team in the league, or they can be the worst team in the league. So,
which was the second part of the question. So how are they going to approach this game? Don't have a massive amount of historical joy coming to Adelaide.
No, not at all. I think they have to find that balance of what their best is and what their worst is, and kind of find a consistency there. Because when they win, they play really well. They look like they could do some serious damage. When they lose, it's wooden spooner-ish like. So they got to find that balance. That consistency. So it's hit or miss with Newcastle. They've got to find that consistency. They've got experienced coach in Ernie Merrick. Honestly, it's a round robin with them. It's roulette. I hope that they can find that happy medium and see what we saw 2 years ago when they made the final. That was fantastic. So hopefully they can continue on what they've done last week. Yeah.
And basically what you've said is completely resonates with our last fixture against them, because game of two halves, they smashed us the first half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Should have really not taken their foot off the pedal, and then Adelaide United really made it look second best in the second half.
Yeah.
So you've really hit the nail on the head there, mate. Now, prediction.
I've got a soft spot for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Obviously, always have.
You're not going to sit on the fence, are you, Johnny?
No, I'm not going to sit on the fence. I want Newcastle to win, but I think Adelaide will win.
Okay.
I think Adelaide will win. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle come here and played well. It's just, like I said, it's literally roulette. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, you'd have to take Adelaide United at home.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't ride the Jets off. Like, if Adelaide play and do what they did against Wellington, if they don't rock up, then they will lose this game. So they've got to be on their toes for sure.
Before I let you go, Johnny, there's murmurs coming from the A-League's top power brokers that they will soon consider whether there should be a ban on clubs in the competition signing foreign goalkeepers in order to aid the development of Australian shot stoppers. This is close to your heart. What are your thoughts?
I would like to see it all Australian goalkeepers from a development point of view, but if we aren't developing them, then there's not much we can do. We can't discriminate goalkeepers from a different country that want to play in Australia, because Kurto has been fantastic.
Sorensen.
Sorensen. So these guys have been good for the A-League. I would like to think that we could get to a stage again where we're developing goalkeepers, that 11 of the team's goalkeepers are Australian. So maybe from a development point of view, I think we have to look at that first. I would like to see it to be 11, or however many teams are out, all Australian or one Kiwi one. But if they're not coming through, then we have no choice but to have these guys. But the foreign goalkeeper has been great.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged question. I'd like to see them, just from a country, like from a development point of view, we've always had strong goalkeepers. A guy like Magush and Richard, I'd like to see them be playing. But at the moment they're not coming through, so we've got to go where the players are, and that's abroad. So all the best to them.
I love the patriotism coming through.
Yeah.
I tend to think, like, why limit the opportunities for the young guys? Because as you've seen, and you're probably a case of it, there have been so many young Australian goalkeepers whose careers have been stifled
For sure.
through lack of opportunity. And I just don't think, personally, we need to give these sort of older European guys, you know, much of a look in, given that we have such few opportunities here. But that's a contentious one for everyone to be divided on. Now, John, so good getting you in.
Yeah, been a pleasure.
You've provided us with so many insights. Great stories all around, mate. You've got a lot to look forward to with Berks coming up
Yeah, for sure.
in 2020 at the FPL. We wish you all the very best.